our kids are the first generation that grew up with an iPad in their hand,
right.
with a digital phone in their hand. And they're tired of it because they've realized this is not giving me what it is that I desire in life.
Right.
Which is connection and relationship and personal experience.
This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, a podcast about Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals. Mostly.
Yeah, powered by Christian Brothers Automotive, actually from the Christian Brothers Automotive of Spring Hill Studios, and powered by Muletown Bikes. This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, where we have real conversations with Middle Tennessee business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals. And they come in here, we have really good conversations, and that's why you're listening. I got to mention Christian Brothers Automotive of Spring Hill. Check those guys out if you need your car fixed. Jason Miller is a good friend of mine. He owns the place. And if you're looking to get in shape this year, Muletown Bikes. Go check out some of their e-bikes. Aventum is what I have. And for the new year, I think I'm going to start documenting my journeys on my e-bike, maybe with my Insta360 camera, and start, I need to lose some pounds, Art, because, as we both know, when we get to our age, it gets a lot more difficult, even though you look fantastic,
I don't feel fantastic today.
So today I've got a guest in, Mr. Art Kelly. He's with the Realty One Group, and he's a realtor here. Or is it a realtor or a realtor?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It's realtor.
I don't know. If you say it the wrong way, you might get fined by NAR.
Yeah, that's,
Because that's a trademarked word.
I know. So I guess real estate agent is the proper term, right?
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
Real.
But you hear everybody, I'm looking for realtors. Like I need a doctor.
Yeah, that's right.
Or a podcaster. So we're going to be talking. If you're somebody or you know somebody who's like getting to late 40s, early 50s, and I think everybody, one of the things that we address in this podcast as of late are the challenges that have been popping up. I think everybody feels like, for the most part, they haven't exactly been hitting it out of the park.
Sure. Yeah.
I certainly feel that way. And we just did a whole analysis. I had to redo my personal financial statement recently, and I was like, I really don't want to do this. This is going to be ugly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as ugly as I thought it was going to be, so that's good. But it's still, here I am 50 years old.
Yep.
Gary Vee says you got to love the journey, the marathon. Fall in love with the process.
That's it.
And he is so right. He is so right.
I think as John Gordon said, love the process so you can love what the process produces.
Because, that's ultimately what we're getting up for every day.
Yeah. But,
when you have a string of, or a time where it's not fun because it just, I don't want to say it's a wartime economy, metaphorically.
Sure.
But it kind of is, we're due for this. Mm-hmm. It's been so good since 2013, 2014, then COVID happened. COVID was almost like a shot in the arm, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people who did really well during that time.
Yeah, I did well. It was a great time. There was a short period of time where nobody did well because everybody couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because they shut things down. Funny story. So March 15th, 2020, we have several friends that we kind of do life with. And we were talking for the year prior, like, hey, let's all go on a cruise. Mm-hmm. And so we had a cruise scheduled for like March 12th through the 15th or something like that. Well, I think March 15th, we were like a day on the cruise. So like it was 13th or 14th whenever we went on. But anyway, it was a 3-day cruise to like Cozumel. And we're driving down to Mobile, Alabama, all 10 of us that were going together. It was just us with no kids. It's great. Great trips. Those are the best kind. And all of our parents and everybody in our world were calling us. Yeah. And they were all saying, don't get on that cruise ship. Don't get on that ship. And we're like, why? What's going on? And because the news, we weren't watching the news because we were driving down to Mobile, Alabama, but like all of the world was like about to set fire.
Yeah, that was like D-Day.
Yeah. And so like we literally were like, oh, well, we're getting on this thing come hell or high water. Devil may care. And so we all got on the boat and we're we're a day in and Donald Trump gives the no sail order
to
all the cruise ships in America or whatever. We're halfway to Mexico and we're like, what are we going to do? What are they going to do? They took us down. They ended up rerouting us to like Progreso, Mexico. Mm-hmm. We stayed today on some cartel boss's house. I don't even know what it was. We were sipping margaritas, and they were dealing drugs in the background. And we're like, we're all, hey, having a good time. And we come back and we're like, are we going to be able to get off the ship? And so that was I don't even know where that came from. You mentioned the pandemic, but all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
We came back from the pandemic and then I sat in my house for 3 months wondering whether or not I was going to be able to get any business. I had people calling me thinking about making moves and stuff. But a lot of that stuff was kind of quiet during that time. And then May hit, and dude, I mean, from May of 2020 to like December of 2022, it was like a spring market in the real estate business for like a month. Yeah. So like we got super spoiled expecting to have business,
Everybody became a realtor.
Everybody became a realtor. Like the membership of NAR went from like 1 million realtors to 1.5 million realtors
just around
in 1 year.
That's National Association of Realtors.
Yeah. National Association of Realtors. So like their membership went up by half. Because everybody's like, ooh, and people were talking about real estate's the new toilet paper, because toilet paper was off the shelves. And so were houses. And then the last 2 years from 23, 24, and then this year, it has definitely been more of a challenge because the rates went from 3% mortgage all the way up to 8% at one point 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And then came back down and hovered right around 6% for the last 2 years. And people are still kind of in that mind space of, oh, maybe it'll go back down. I'm like, not like it was. That ain't ever happening again. Because the Fed reduced the rate to 0.
Yeah.
Like that's just not. Anybody who studies any economic history, you don't have to be a genius to realize like that was a really stupid thing for our country.
Well, they printed money.
You print money, you make it not worth anything, And so anyhow, so that's kind of that's what we're coming out of, that mentality, that market. And we have an expectation. A lot of people have this expectation of, oh, my house will sell for this now. And I'm like, look, I mean, you bought your house 5 years ago. I paid $315,000 for my house 5 years ago. It's probably worth $450 at the peak of the market 3 years ago. I could have probably turned around and sold that daggone thing for $500,000.
Right.
But I can't expect my house to sell for $500,000 today.
Yeah. Because
the rates have risen so much and I have competition with other houses in my neighborhood. And that wasn't happening before. You had no competition as a seller. Like you had 10 buyers for every one seller. So you just sell it. You put a sign in the yard. For sale by owners figured out, oh, we don't have to have a realtor. A lot of them did, Yeah. And now we're in a space where it's different. Like you got 10 sellers for every one buyer now. So, again, depending on location and stuff, it's some parts of the Middle Tennessee market are still moving pretty quickly. If it's priced right, it's always going to move pretty quickly. Lots of people still see Tennessee as a desirable place to live. But yeah, man, like we're coming out of some crazy, crazy times. And
well, the reason being was because of all the lockdowns in some of the states. People were tired of it because we had a camper we bought in 2017. Paid about 17, maybe 16.5 for it.
Yeah.
And then RVs were just flying off the shelves because people were like, we want to do something. Let's go camping. And we ended up selling our RV, I want to say in 2023 for more than what we paid for it.
Yeah.
And we got 6 years of use out of it. Little trailer,
Yeah.
And it was kind of crazy.
That's crazy to see a depreciating asset
a massively depreciating asset.
Yeah, what in the world happened?
Right. But ours is also unique. Ours is like a particular, very rare RV. So, I mean, a lot of the people coming here, there's still people like California is still moving here. If I'm a realtor right now, I've suggested this to 2 people. I would be buying OTT, over the top advertising in markets in California and New York, especially with the election, the mayoral election they just had. People are freaking out.
People are moving.
They're all coming here. Mm-hmm. You might as well get in front of them.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of us are on Facebook groups and meeting people in those spaces. You know, most of my business, I just tell people all the time, I make friends, right? Like that's where my whole brand, my whole Friend Maker brand came from. It's just this concept that, like, you know, at the end of the day, everything that we do is relationally driven in real estate, especially. But if you're in sales at all, it's about your relationships.
Totally.
People that I know that do $25-50 million a year, they're not doing anything different than what I'm doing. They just have spheres of influence that have access to people who have that kind of resource, you know? Yeah. And so when you're in a business and you're not making as much money as you want, you know, I think Alex Ramosi, I'm sure you're familiar with Alex Ramosi, but yeah, he's like, you know, find people who buy expensive, you know, crap and sell it to them.
Yeah.
You know, so figure out who it is that's buying stuff and then figure out how to sell it to those people. And
and the most important thing, the persona of the realtor is very important, especially what you're putting on social media.
Yeah.
For example, Nick Woodard being one of my good friends and a client of mine.
I know Nick.
He puts out videos of him shooting guns at his property. He's he's been here for a really long time. Yeah. He knows the landscape. He knows the people. He gets people reaching out to him all the time just because they like what he's about.
Yeah, that's right.
He is a good old boy through and through.
Yeah.
So is that something that, you know, you're doing as well? Because you're somewhat of a native. Are you?
Yeah.
Were you
so
born
I
here?
live in Murfreesboro and have been here for 25 years. So I just turned 50. So half my life I've lived here in Middle Tennessee.
Right.
And
where'd you come from?
Man, everywhere. Right. My dad was military.
Okay.
So yeah, born in Charleston, South Carolina. Grew up on the East Coast, up and down all the way to Rhode Island, New Jersey, Virginia. Graduated high school in Florida in Jacksonville. Went to school at Liberty University in Virginia. Met my wife there back in 93. Got married 95. Got married in 97 when I graduated, and then I was going to be a youth pastor. That was actually my degree was a religion degree and working in churches and stuff. And then first 2 church jobs I got, I was there for a very short period of time, and I didn't realize it, but in that world, there's a political element.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know about. And but I've always had kind of a service mentality in my heart, you know, in my mind, the way I do life. I want to serve people.
Yeah.
And, so for the better part of the first 10, 15 years of me living here in Middle Tennessee, man, I was working jack of all trades, master of all trades.
Yeah.
We got 4 kids. So just raising a family, working. I mean, I was at Nissan. I worked on the night shift for 5 years, putting on, you know, wiper blades and door panels and driving cars off the line. I did bread delivery for a little while. I was in the school system as an educational assistant. I was a sales trainer for a vending machine company, filling vending machines. Was a roofing contractor. Did every number of, you know, construction things over the years. And so I got into real estate because I just, my wife's a photographer here in the area, and she had a lot of clients that were coming here from California. So 15 years ago, I'm just sitting here. I'm kind of her photography caddy, you know, just holding her bag. And
you're a PA.
There you go. Yeah. And, but I would go and just kind of be there, and I'd talk to the husbands while she took pictures of the family. That's pretty much my job was, you know. And but as I was talking to a lot of them, I kept meeting all these folks. And I'm like, where are y'all from? Oh, California. Everybody was coming from the West Coast. And I'm like, right about 40 years old, my wife and I were having a come to Jesus conversation because I was making about $1,500 a month working in the school system as an educational assistant. She was our primary breadwinner. She was exhausted. And I'm like, yeah, I got to do something different. Like, this isn't working. And so I got into real estate. Had no idea what I was getting into.
I am Vinny Tavares. I'm the owner of Milltown Bikes, right in the heart of Columbia, Tennessee, on the square. And we're here to serve the community. We have bicycles from kids to adults, e-bikes, mountain bikes, road bikes. We run a repair shop, So I am the third generation of this current bike shop. It's been here since the 70s. It's a historical building. It's an integral part of the downtown community in Colombia. We get customers here coming in and talking that they got their very first bike here. So the reception has been great. Everybody's been super friendly, super welcoming. A lot of the old customers that been coming here for generations now still come here. They're now my customers, and I have a huge responsibility to continue to carry that legacy and that passion forward.
Hi, I'm Jason Miller. I'm the owner of Christian Brothers Automotive here in Spring Hill, Tennessee. We fix cars here, both European and domestic, from simple oil changes to complete engine rebuilds and replacements. Most important thing, though, is while you're waiting, we've got the best snack game in town, and we invite you to make yourself at home and get to know us, and we treat you like family. We're located right across the street from Walmart on Highway 31 right here in Spring Hill. Let us know that you heard about us on this ad, and we'll give you 10% off your next oil change. So stop on in and see us in downtown Spring Hill. Do we even have a downtown in Spring Hill?
I've done a few things business-wise, but never really, started my own business or whatever. Did some stuff in roofing, kind of lost my ass in some stupid deals that I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And but then I got into real estate, and the first couple of years, it was hard because, there's a learning curve. You're trying to figure out how do I do this? How do I help folks, navigate through this? Eventually I got to a point where I realized, I looked back that first year I didn't sell a single thing. Mm-hmm. I'm 10 years in now. Second year I sold 10 homes, and it happened because I had some agent friends of mine, that a broker that kind of took me under his wing and started to show me and offer me opportunities to do open houses and stuff. And then, and I started doing a lot of stuff on social media, and I started to just talk to all of my friends. And I looked back that first year, I think out of 10 homes I sold, 9 of them I sold to people I knew. Mm-hmm. Second year, I sold 20 homes, and like 18 of them were people I knew. Mm-hmm. So I saw this pattern starting to emerge. Most of my clients are coming from people I know. And yet most of the training that's out there in business, period, is pay for advertising. Go do cold calls, do all this stuff. And you can get business that way for sure. Mm-hmm. But then I started to go, but my business is coming from people I know. Mm-hmm. So why am I spending all this money on advertising and things that are not, like, are getting 10 or 20% of my business? Why don't I take my money and start buying boxes of donuts for people and just, pour into the people that already know me. Mm-hmm. And then over time, what I found is I started to really nurture those relationships. The referrals started to come a lot more. And so even now I'm getting referrals. It's interesting. I'm in an interesting spot. We were talking earlier on in my business because our business is, real estate's a seasonal kind of thing. It's, 30, 40.
Business can be a seasonal
kind of
thing in general.
40, 50% of your business is going to come in the spring. Yeah. March, April, May, June, those are going to be the hottest times for people to buy and sell homes. Then there's going to be a little dip in the month of June. And then right after 4th of July, right before school starts, that 3 or 4 week period, there's a little bit of a bump. We start seeing people want to make a move before school starts. Mm-hmm. Then school starts and we have another dip. August, September, it usually typically slows down a little bit. And then October hits and people start looking at the holidays. Right. And they're like, okay, I want to get into something before Thanksgiving or Christmas. Right around this time, because we're a week out from Christmas, things are pretty dead. Mm-hmm. And there's not a whole lot going on. There's people that are still, and I've had people calling me over the last 3 or 4 months. And all of them are people that I know. Yeah. Calling me, hey, we want to do something. We get 3 or 4 days in and they're like, we're going to wait till the spring. So there's a lot of fear in the market. The government was shut down for a month and a half here in October and November. That did not help anything for those of us in sales, right, in business, because the fear is just in the market. Yeah. There's volatility among those that lead us, whether you agree or disagree with whoever political leader is who. Like volatility and instability from people at the top creates instability all across the economy. Right. And so people need to know predictability. Hey, are we going to be okay? Like, just tell us we're going to be okay. Right. That's all we need to hear. Even if we're not going to be okay.
I think that's why we heard from him last night.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a very impromptu speech.
Yes.
I think that was probably in light of what was said about Rob Reiner, which a lot of people I know who favor President Trump. I mean, I'm one of them. I like what he's doing, but I mean, I think there's a majority of people that say, okay, dude, just
just shut your mouth.
Just shut up.
Yeah.
Man.
Stop tweeting.
I think that's probably the commonality that the entire country
just do
can.
good things for everybody. I know that you're doing it because it benefits you and it makes you look better. Then keep doing that kind of stuff, but like stop saying stuff.
Right.
We're tired of it.
Right.
But anyway, all that to say, we're moving into a really new era, I think, over the next several months. And I've always been of the opinion that whatever you do in business, you can blame the economy all day long. At the end of the day, if things aren't working in your favor, it's because there's something that you're not doing that you should have been doing.
Right.
And sometimes luck is bad, right? Sometimes
are people aware of what they should be doing? That's the question. Because I'm the similar situation. I've always been like, well, go figure it out. What are you good at?
Yeah.
Go find a side hustle like I have. I mean, I've probably got, my main hustle is what we're talking about and what we're doing here, but I've got probably 3 or 4 other main hustles, that take up my time, but I enjoy what I do. I like getting up in the morning and I come out with a spring in my step. It's been, it's tough to get outside of your own bottle.
Yes.
And that's a saying I kind of borrow and throw around every now and then. And you think you're the only one. And you got to remember that I think there are a lot of people that are trying to figure it out right now.
Oh yeah.
Realtors, regular, typical business owner, what we've been going through.
Yes.
It's been a tough season, very tight season. I think it's happening a lot more than we realize.
Absolutely.
And when you see people, especially on social media, who put the veneer of success, and talk about things like, the money's just flowing to them and the rest of us are suffering.
Sure.
I don't know if that's reality or if it's for real or it's just still a veneer. But either way, it's not helping.
I think there's a lot of people, and of course in my world, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? Yeah. And
that's a good way to put it.
It just is. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And there's a lot of people that have become very, very, very successful. When I say very, very, very successful, I mean monetarily, like $100 million producers. There's a lot of people that do that. Yeah. And do we all want to have that? Sure. I think everybody has kind of a desire. The truth is there are certain skills that a lot of those types of folks have that most of us don't, that we can learn, but there's a learning curve. And sometimes people just already have some of those natural skills. Yeah. Some of them are born with, some of them are born with a silver spoon in the mouth. Some of them are not, and they just work their butts off for a long period of time while nobody sees.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, someday you see them, kind of go. I see the guys
you can tell.
Yes.
You can tell.
You can tell. And I see the guys like the Ryan Serhants of the world. I think he's got some amazing things going on for him. And but I also see the work, like the hustle. This guy, he meets 8 to 10 people every single day. Like, talk to your average real estate agent. Like most of them are like, I don't even know how to meet one person a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's a skill and that's a discipline that he's done. And he's putting himself in spaces and saying yes to as many invitations as possible. And so like there is kind of an abundance mindset. And so the more you have that mindset of, okay, I'm going to put myself in spaces where I get invited into more stuff or get asked, if I don't know something, then what am I doing? Am I just saying I don't know it, so I'm not going to try that? Or am I saying, wait a second, there's like 10 different ways, 100 different ways you can get paid in real estate. But if I just pigeonhole myself, say I'm only going to sell homes. Well, what if you help people buy homes? What if you help investors? What if you become a property manager? What if you decide to get into commercial real estate? What if you want to get into development? What if you want to get into coaching and teaching people how to do this kind of stuff? Like those are all different things that are related. And a lot of us just don't want to jump into that because we just want it easy.
Right.
And so I think business is hard. What looks easy, it never is. And so like at the end of the day, if I'm going to blame anybody for anything, it's not going to be the economy. It's not going to be the president. It's not going to be, my broker or all those people out there who aren't using me. It's me. I got to put my finger back in my own chest and go, what am I doing? How do I change? And if I'm not changing, then I'm probably going to end up broke.
That's the thing.
You got to pivot. You got to learn how to pivot quick.
It's easy to forget that notion where you're looking at your present situation and maybe things that are coming down the pike of, oh man, how are we going to make this work? We've got this unexpected expense now monthly here, and we got this and we got this. And, you're trying to, zig and zag and do it. And every now and then you just got to stop and pause and say, you know what, I am actually in control of this. I'm working on the presumption of what's currently happening, forgetting that I could still affect that. And that's that. I'm guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
It's sometimes, and I feel when I remind myself, but I can change this.
Yeah.
I can change this. It feels really good when you remind yourself you're still in charge. You could change. You could figure something out.
Well, and it's so funny, man. Like, I think there's some things we have to recognize that we are powerless over, right? So, like, I think one of the things that, referencing some of the coaching people that I see out there in the real estate world, is that, like, there's a lot of assumptions that a lot of those folks make about how easy it is.
Right.
And a lot of that is because their experience has given them a comfort level and a confidence level to be able to say that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of folks out there that go, like, that's easy for you.
Right.
But I have to learn how to do that. So like when I see somebody go, we'll just go get more listings. I'm like, well, that's not easy.
Yeah.
Like,
Now for the layman, that means going out and finding somebody who's trusting you to sell their home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what that means.
And we are coming. There are things that I'm powerless over.
Yeah.
Like the last 2 years, there have been there's been lawsuits. There's been media that has basically said for real estate agents, gone is the 6% commission.
Yeah.
You have to negotiate now.
Because they were accusing you of price fixing.
They're accusing us, number one, of fixing prices, which it's always been negotiable.
Right.
And telling us that now you can negotiate. No, we've all been negotiating. Like that's what we've been doing that for 100 years, you know? And so like, those are the kind of things that we're having to so I'm having to battle against that stuff with people. A lot of them are asking, what's your value? What are you worth? Why do we need to pay you for this?
Right.
What a lot of folks don't realize is those of us that are in real estate in the industry is that we're not paid a salary. We're paid when we close on homes. We're incentivized to help you get the best deal that you possibly can, because if we don't, then we don't get paid, because if we don't sell your house, we don't get paid.
Right.
And so, and your average real estate agent sells 5-6 homes a year.
Yeah.
So makes $50,000, $60,000 a year. Max.
And that's top line.
That's top line. Yeah. And you could lose it. You could spend a lot of time working for somebody for a month or 2 or 6 months or whatever. You could drive all over creation, look at 40 houses. And then the buyer decide all of a sudden, you know what, I'm just going to rent. And guess what? You just did all that work for free. So like, it is one of those industries where a lot of people don't realize, like, we do a lot of stuff. We do a lot of work. We do a lot of mental gymnastics and emotional gymnastics. And we hold and we take a lot of arrows for you so that you can get to the closing table and not feel any one of those arrows that we all just basically sacrificed ourselves over. And then you ask us for a paycheck cut.
Yeah.
Hey, can you do this for a little bit less? I'm like, I'll tell you what, why don't you go to your boss and say, hey, do you mind if I offer to do this work for a little bit less? Do you think that's going to be something your boss will be like, yeah, absolutely. It'd be great.
In the creative, we fight that in the creative space as well. Voiceover in particular, especially now that we're, voiceover people are kind of fighting the AI battle, most like everybody else. A lot of people in the community, in the voiceover community, preach to themselves and others, know your worth. You got to know your worth. You got to tell what other people what you're worth. And I'm like, no, because there's still going to be consumers. And if you go about it telling them like, I am worth this, just because, no, you got to sell that notion. Yeah. You have to sell it. And, for somebody that's maybe not aware, that's why I always, for people, the mere term of listing, the reason why I wanted to break that down momentarily was because, well, what does a listing mean? And I'm like, I'm somewhat of a layman, even though I'm around your industry a lot. Yeah. I'm like, well, that's basically when somebody trusts you to sell their house.
That's right.
That's you getting a listing. Now you have inventory to put out to the market to other agents as well. Hey, if you got a buyer for this, that's right. Bring them to the table. Now, if you find a buyer, better off, because then you make a lot more of a percentage. You get both sides.
Well, and that's kind of a misnomer as well. I think a lot of folks think that all the realtors want to do is just make both sides of a deal.
Right.
The truth is that even in our brokerage, we're kind of discouraged from doing that because there's a conflict of interest. If I'm representing this seller to help them sell their home,
right,
my job is to help them get the most for their home. And if a buyer comes along unrepresented and I represent that, but I can't represent that buyer fully.
Right.
Without it being a conflict of interest, because that buyer is trying to get the best deal that they possibly can do. So a lot of us, we have to kind of drop to the role of facilitator if our sellers are okay with that. And if we're okay with that personally, I haven't really done very many like that before. Sometimes you'll do like a facilitation where just kind of get them in the same room, have them work together.
It's only okay from weapons manufacturers that play both sides of the table to different countries. That's when it's
That's
okay.
where it's okay. That's right.
All right.
So anyway, all that to say, I think what's important to me, and I think you touched on it about the whole AI thing, is I think that the longer we all do business, whatever business or industry we're in, we have got to keep it personal and imperfect. There needs to be imperfection. Like the great thing about doing voiceover work, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
AI is perfect, or at least a sense of it, but the thing is like, I don't need everything to be perfect. I want it to be human. Like I want to know there's a personal touch here. And so like, if I don't think like for my industry, even for your industry, yes, there's things that AI can do that you can do, and they can do it cheaper. That's what people are looking at, money. And, but at the same time, what happens is over time, like, haven't you noticed how like best example I have is like, back in the 60s, you had records, LPs, and then the 8-track tape came out, and the records kind of went away, and then you had cassette tapes, then you had CDs.
That led to MP3.
Then you had MP3s, and then now you've got everything is, streaming, but what's interesting, and I've noticed, I have kids that are, between 15 and 23, and they all love
Records.
LPs. Yeah. We got them a couple record players. They love the old stuff, the pops, the clicks, all that stuff. They like that because it's imperfect.
Does your garage door sound like this? If it does, it's screaming for help. Call Incredible Doors, 931-348-DOOR. We're making garage doors in Murray and Williamson counties work better and sound better. We just make them incredible again. Go to IncredibleDoors.com or call 931-348-DOOR. Follow us on Facebook for specials on maintenance visits, keypads, and other items. 931-348-DOOR. IncredibleDoors.com.
My kids actually are not really big AI fans.
Neither am I. They don't like it at all.
You know why? Because our kids are the first generation that grew up with an iPad in their hand,
right,
with a digital phone in their hand. And they're tired of it because they've realized this is not giving me what it is that I desire in life.
Right.
Which is connection and relationship and personal experience. So like our kids are going to be the ones that are going to go to a restaurant. They're going to have a great experience with the waiter, and they're going to either come back to that same restaurant and ask for that waiter, or they're going to tell all their friends, not about that restaurant, but about that waiter and that experience they had with that particular waiter. If that waiter really did step away, give them some kind of a wow experience. So now we're in a place where quality of service matters more than it ever has, because it's not that they're going to replace our industry with AI. It's, are we going to, like, there's things that I can do that AI can't. I made a bunch of pumpkin breads about 4 weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving. I had 70 of these little pumpkin breads, literally mixed them all up in my own kitchen for about 5 hours. And then I went out on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I just drove out to all of my clients' house, and I dropped off pumpkin breads.
Yeah.
And I either called them or I left it on their front doorstep or whatever. AI can't do that. And it's not going to. And you say, well, that's just pumpkin bread. Yeah, but you know what? I got face to face with a lot of those people.
It's relationship building.
And it was relationships, And so how do we take whatever the business that we're doing and create those little momentary wow experiences? Because there are things that we as humans can do that AI cannot ever do.
Right.
AI can't call up that lady that even a cold call I made, find out that this lady is going through a divorce at 73 years old, and have compassion for her on the phone. And that phone call turns less into a sales call and more into a human connection call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care at this point whether I sell her house.
Yeah.
I care about the fact that this woman is going through a excruciating time, married for 38 years, love of her life. And now she's 73 years old thinking about selling her home, buying a new home, trying to go through a divorce. I mean, it's like, that's a human story at that point. Like, who cares if I sell your house?
Right.
Right. Like, I just care about you now. And so like those moments that we have as we do, again, not everybody does that, but I think that's the kind of stuff that we all can do in our businesses that really creates that.
I often talk about the notion when somebody pops in my head randomly, I reach out to them.
Yeah.
Hey, you popped in my head. Hope things are okay.
That's right.
How are you?
Yeah.
You know, and I got that when I was at Mercedes. I think for a lot of people, follow up, they overcomplicate it.
Yes.
And the manager at the time, Harold Hamilton, somebody had asked him in one of our meetings, well, if we're supposed to just randomly, what are we supposed to say? And he just looked at him, he goes, sup. And I'll never forget it. I'm like, you know, it really is that simple.
It is.
How are you? And asking it, I'm not just asking you this because it's a salutation. I really want to know, how are you?
Yeah.
You know, the thing that we were talking about before we started, me making phone calls for people, a lot of what I did in the car business was like, hey, how's it going with you? And I really want to know.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are like, well, I just don't have time right now. I completely understand. Is there anything else we can do for you? So on and so forth. But occasionally you would find that one person and be like, do you really mean it? Yeah, I really mean it. Well, how are you doing?
Yeah.
You're not trying to sell me? No, I'm not trying to sell you a car. I mean, if you're interested or you know somebody that is, I'm just trying to make sure that there's that connection. Yeah. I knew that back in 2014. You know what I mean? So it's really kind of interesting that we're hitting on that.
You can't fake being a genuine human being.
It's got to come across in the voice though, too.
It does.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, you got to have, there does have, especially if you're on the phone, like charm is a real thing.
Yeah.
Being able to have some charm with people. I think that's what sets the best cold callers apart from the others is you've got to have like this authentic charm, like a genuine, oh, this guy actually is really not trying to sell me anything.
Right.
You know, like if people can walk away, and again, sales, we've talked about this before, I think, but like there's this misnomer out there that sales is bad. Trying to convince you to do something you don't want to do.
Separate you from your money when you're not really sure.
How can I persuade you to go do this thing that you don't want to spend your money on?
And I'm not ignoring you. I'm actually pulling up an example.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
But the truth is that sales, it's a guy named Steve Shapiro that I've heard years ago. He was a network marketing guy, died of cancer not too long ago. But he basically said, to the extent that that's your definition of sales is the extent to which you will fail in sales. The truth is that sales isn't trying to convince people to do something they don't want to do. It's helping people do something that they do want to do.
Right.
And so we as salespeople, we move away from this weird salesy, pitchy car salesman type of mentality and move into a space of I'm a trusted advisor. Let me help you figure this out. And also, like the crazy thing, and I think this is what really sets the best salespeople apart, is being able to just have nothing attached to, you know what? Whether you use me or not, I'm just going to give you this advice because this is just what I would tell my own kid, or this is what I would tell my own brother. And you decide.
Yeah.
You know, you decide if you want to work with me or not, but I'm never going to lie to you just so I can get a sale.
Right.
You know, and so giving people the opportunity to just kind of see that that's really that's the role you're in.
You're not wrong.
That's
man.
important.
When I sold for Mercedes, it was one of those, as soon as I became so transparent when we were evaluating the trade, I would turn the screen around.
Yeah.
This is what I'm looking at right now. Here's how it works. My guy here locally is looking at your car and putting a number on it.
Yeah.
And he's submitting it to our corporate office in Charlotte. They're going to put their number on it. And I said, consider it like the used car stock market in a way.
Yeah.
I said, you know, here from another dealership across town, their guy put this number on it. You could see that they came back with a higher number. They disagreed. Sometimes they're right on. Sometimes they're off. I said, just so you know, it's all based on real numbers.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, here, look, he just popped your car in. He came in at that number. Does that look good? And they would be like, yeah, you know, I'm like, now let's see what the other place comes back with. Well, and then they would bring up, well, hey, you know, if we finance with you, you're making an extra couple of points on that. And I would say, yeah, that's a profit center for us.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where they were like, oh, we didn't anticipate you say. It took the wind out of their sales.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we make money here.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do. And
that's right.
You know,
you're
buying a car. You've done well in life to buy this kind of car.
Yeah.
You understand that notion. everybody wants a really good deal. A good deal is subjective.
Sure.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah.
And it's at the same time, hey, I still need to make a living for my family.
Well, that's what goes back to the whole success thing. Success is subjective too.
Yes.
Just because you don't sell 100 million units of whatever it is you sell doesn't mean that you're not successful.
Yeah.
Like when you go home at night and your wife actually wants to be around you and you want to be around her, that's a good thing. When your kids want to actually be in relationship with you, I don't care how much money I make. You know what I mean? Like but it's hard because life as a business owner is hard. So you do sometimes carry that stuff home, and your kids and your family don't want to be around you.
Right.
And so you just have to stop and go, wait a second, what is success here? What does that look like? Does it look like me working my tail to the bone all the way, every day, or just being able to take time and just go? The sales process is, I always liken it to agricultural terms. What we're doing is we are like farmers that plant seeds, that water those seeds and that nurture those seeds. And then we trust. There comes a point where you can do all of the sowing of the seed. But the reaping part, I don't have control over whether or not those seeds pop up out of the ground.
Right.
But I do have control over whether I'm planting them at all, whether I'm nurturing them if they do pop up the ground, or watering them, or just giving them life and breathing life on them. But ultimately, the sale, I just have to be there and be ready for the reaping when the time comes. But understanding that, like, I got to constantly be planting seeds, but there's also a time where I have to kind of let those seeds germinate. And so I created some stuff over the last couple of years that have really helped me in my business. I brought several. I wanted to show you this. This is the one that's kind of my big prospecting tool.
Yeah.
It's called the 21-Day Friend Maker Challenge. And I wrote this as a guide just trying to figure out how to prospect better in my own business and also not get burnout. So like prospecting, I tell everybody prospecting is like doing the laundry. It's like mowing your grass. It's like doing the dishes. It is something that's perpetual, and it has to be done just about every day. Because if you don't do it, then what happens is the grass starts to grow. The laundry starts to smell. The dishes, get all that crusty crap all over it, and you got to scrub them down. Like if you don't do these things regularly, then you're not going to have. So if you don't prospect regularly in your business, somehow, some way, shape or form, then at some point down the road, you're not going to have business. And if you want to have, you can be great at customer service, you can be great at managing all that money. But if you don't have clients actually walking through your doors, the number one thing you got to be doing is sales and marketing for your business all the time. So how do you do that? So I teach people in the service industries, especially, real estate, mortgage, financial advising, insurance agents, that kind of stuff. You're a relational business. And if you own a restaurant, it's still relational. It's a little different. There's advertising and all that stuff, but you're still trying to create an experience for people, right? But anyway, what I did was I created a 3-week challenge, because you have 4 weeks in a month typically. And so, but if you prospect all the time, you'll get burnout. Yeah. You'll just wake up every day and you'll be like, do I have to do this daggone thing again? And so what I did was I just said, okay, in the sphere, I did a thing called the 75 hard. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah. Andy Frisella.
I did that a couple years ago, finally did it all the way through and got the coin. It was great. The whole point of that though is 5 tasks every day without fail. You do them all the way through to 75 days, and it does change everything. And then you go back and you gain all the weight back. It's great. Because, anyway, but that being said, I was inspired by that to create this because I thought, well, what do people in sales need that could help them? So I created a challenge that's 5 daily tasks, 4 weekly goals, 5 monthly objectives. So it gives you the opportunity to work in your business. So a lot of it's phone calls, handwritten notes, meeting new people, going to networking groups, connecting relationally with people, having a lot of great conversations every day, right? That's the goal, is great conversation. I don't care how you do it. Have 5 to 10 great conversations every day about your business. You're going to have plenty of business. Yeah. If you don't have enough of those conversations, you ain't gonna have. So this gives you a guideline and a framework for that. Then there's also stuff to work on your business, like developing a Google business page. If you don't have a Google business page as a business owner, that's a mistake. You got to get some reviews. People are looking you up on Google. They're wanting to find you. Get you about 50 or 60 reviews from all your past clients and get people to say nice things about you. But then also send out a newsletter, do a digital email, communicate with people and community. So you're building community through all this. So I put it into a 21-day challenge so you can do 3 weeks and then you can just take a week off. And you can do 3 weeks and you can take another week off. And you can do 3 weeks and you just keep doing that every month. And that way you're not burning out. You're planting the seeds for 3 weeks and then you're like a good farmer sitting back and just letting that stuff germinate. And then you hit back again. And then all of a sudden, over time, what you find is these people who you're staying in constant contact with, at some point pops, a phone call. Hey, thank you so much for thinking of us for Christmas. We actually are thinking about making a move here in February. Yeah. All of a sudden, it's a referral now, and or whatever. And so all that to say, that's I created that for me because I needed a good system. And what it has inside of it is a checklist. It's literally do this, write these names down, do this, write these names down, do this, write these names down. So you can get to the end of your day and you can look and see, did I do any sales and marketing business or not? Right. And you can get to the end of your week and you can actually count up how many phone calls did I make? How many handwritten notes did I do? How many people did I add to my database this week?
Decomplicate.
You track it. Yeah. You just track it. You write it down and you see exactly how much of a failure you actually are.
You need to put that in an app.
Yeah, it does need to be in an app because a lot of folks, this is for me because I like to write things down, but a lot of that would be good digital.
But sure. I mean, that's recurring revenue for you. Absolutely. To have an app where maybe it costs $6 a month or something like that. Yeah. And you have all the training videos and stuff like that to go along.
Maybe I need to get AI to help me with that.
Yeah, maybe. Or just hire an actual human, certified human company that does video like it'syourshow.go to actually come up with a training for that. But I mean, that's similar to somebody else here in town who's a coach, little bald man. He,
Bert?
Sure.
Michael Bert?
Michael Bert. He had an idea, he had a concept called Monster Producer years ago.
Yes.
And he was one of these people, I sat down like, dude, this needs to be an app. Because his attrition was his big problem. Yeah. People paying several $100s a month to go to the live classes and stuff like that. I said, dude, 3 things. This thing is a CRM. It's you've got a ton of really good intentional connections, referral partners, if you will, in this thing. Yeah. And I said, dude, it's your training program can live right in there because you're world class at teaching people how to lay out their day. Yeah. I said, almost like a Covey kind of thing. Yeah. And I said, Monster Producer becomes $100 a month. Yeah. And I said, now it's national. You can download it. And I said, your revenue goes through the roof. You could still do what you're doing, and nothing about your life changes, but now you got the app. Same thing here, buddy. That's an app. Yeah.
It is an app. Yeah, that's right. So
maybe we need to talk offline about,
let's do it.
Needing partnerships.
Let's have a conversation. Yeah.
But you're talking about the friendship, like the friendship relationship and now, dare I say, trust economy. Yeah. Is going to become huge. I think so. Because the next generation is going to be one of the most cynical, distrusting generations, I think, ever.
And that's what I feel for me personally, like if we want to call it calling in life, is I've always felt this to be true about myself, is that I like to take complicated ideas and uncomplicate them. Right. Right. The thing that I'm battling against, and I think we're all battling against, is the overcomplication of everything with all of the digital stuff that's out there. Oh, yeah. And the amount of money that's being spent in advertising to convince you that you're failing at your sales and marketing strategy, it's causing a lot of people to just go into spaces of shame and guilt and, oh my gosh, scarcity and I'm not doing it. And AI is going to do all this stuff. With me. Yeah. And the truth is no, there's nothing wrong. If you're not scaling, then you're failing. Yeah. Like that's basically what we're being taught. Yeah. And it's like, can you scale?
Buy Absolutely. My course.
Yeah, that's right. And so, but at the end of the day, like if I don't, like there's never going to be a ceiling. Right. Like, I mean, we're now in our 50s, Jim, and we know that, like, I mean, how many things have we seen over the years that told you got to do this, you got to get to this point, it's never enough. No, it's never enough. And so how do you create some semblance of stability in your business so that you've got enough to be able to do the things you need to do and some of the things you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And how can I grow? How can I get better? I want to be continually growing throughout my life, but I never want to get to a point where I feel like I've arrived, because if I do, then what will happen is I'll get arrogant and I'll lose that humility. Yeah. You get complacent, you lose humility, and you lose friends. Like, if the goal here is, I tell people, he who dies with the most friends wins. Right? Like, the goal here is relationships. It's not alienate everybody you love, you loved or whatever. It's not isolate yourself from everybody. There's a lot of appeal to that, right? I just want to go live on an island somewhere all by myself. Like, it sounds great until you're there for, a few months and you're alone. Like, I want to be alone until I realize I can't survive alone. I need other people. I need people to give me the tangible things, money and referrals and business and opportunity, and, sit down with me and have a conversation. But I also need the things that are intangible, which is, love and hope and relationship and community. And I only get all of that stuff from other people. And so we have to kind of really fight that. I think that messaging that's out there that says you can do all this on your own. No, you can't.
Right.
You need the help of other people. So stop being so daggum arrogant, thinking you can do all this on your own, and just give some of that control up and be like, I need your help.
Well,
I don't know how to do this.
For anybody listening who really feels that, they've been hearing those messages and feeling inadequate or less than. I certainly have.
Yeah.
The discernment to kind of apply is first and foremost, is the person trying to sell a course. That always seems to be doing it.
Yeah.
And also, what's their big idea? Because my big problem, John and I, my business partner, who you know, I have a concept called planets versus moons.
Mm.
And I think a lot of people who are in the speaking, especially everybody wants to be a speaker. Everyone wants to be Tony Robbins.
Sure.
And motivate everybody.
Mm.
But they have no idea what their big idea is.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea what they stand for. Tony Robbins had a conviction.
Yeah.
What I was looking up before was the Instagram numbers for Gary Vee, and then Grant Cardone, and then the guy like Brad Lee. Brad Lee is a friend of mine. He's been on the show several times. He's got about 1.4 followers.
Yeah.
Cardone, very well-known sales trainer,
Mm-hmm.
big real estate guru now. He's got 5 million followers.
Yeah.
Gary, and he's been kind of hovering right about there.
Yeah.
I checked on Gary's numbers maybe 3-4 months ago, and I think he was just under 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
He's approaching 12 million now.
Yeah. Wow.
Why is he growing? And I'll tell you the answer. He never set out to do what he's currently doing. Speaking and all the things that he does came because of his belief.
Mm.
He built a planet. He built a planet that could nurture a community that you could, pour things into, but it's not as pretty as the moon.
Mm-hmm.
The moon that comes out every now and then. Oh, look at the moon and look how big it is, look how pretty it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people in those areas are like moons.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to speak. Hire me to speak. I'm going to coach you. What do you coach on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's good.
How many life coaches do you know that are 23?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
You see a lot of that.
Yeah.
So for anybody listening, apply these elements of discernment.
Mm.
Is this person just trying to get speaking gigs?
Mm-hmm.
Did they get a TED talk because, well, hey, I get to put it on my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
I'm a TEDx speaker. John is a TEDx speaker, legitimately.
Yeah.
He didn't want it.
Yeah.
His whole speech was on, this is why I don't want to do this. I'm serious.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I know a guy who's constantly putting his up going, I'm almost to 1 million views.
Mm-hmm.
Help me get to 1 million. It's okay.
Yeah. Mm.
What did you speak on? Why should I listen to this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to get out of this?
That's right.
John's, on the other hand, was very, very Gary. I called John the clean Gary Vee. He doesn't swear. He doesn't. He's a believer in Christ and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, your principles. I'd love to get you two in a room.
Yeah.
They're so aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Creating healthy cultures.
Yeah.
Giving more than what you're getting. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
The 51-49 principle.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, remember those elements of discernment.
Mm.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I like it. It's good. It's good stuff, Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's some wisdom in there.
Hopefully.
50 years of it.
Oh, it's 100 years of wisdom right here. So how do people find and follow you? I see you're at artkellyrealtor.com.
Yeah, you can go to artkelly.org.
Okay.
And you can follow me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is, just look at me, Art Kelly on Facebook.
.org.
I think artkelly.org. It has my communicator page. I probably need a revamp on all of this stuff, Jim.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of growing myself and trying to figure out the speed of everything has kind of gone, okay, how do I get this message out to more people?
Right.
But I love what you said about planets, man. I think that's a really great idea.
And I think your concept begins with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
How do I make trusting, intentional relationships?
Yeah. Develop relationship community around that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people I see are trying to do that, but a lot of them, it's what's the central idea? What's your core belief about it?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of things stem from a core belief you can believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about it, I want to be able to believe it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's really funny to me over the years, what's kind of emerged out of this stuff for me has been that I believe this with all my heart. Like, I really believe that friendship is the foundation of just about everything.
Right.
So like, if you take business, when I created that concept, I remember thinking people are going to say, well, bless your heart, Art. You just want everybody to be friends. I'm like, well, yeah, I want people to be friends. But what I really want to teach people and help them understand is that, like, it's that whole bit about you need people, the tangible and the intangible. Everything comes through people. And if that's true, then that means everything that we do is rooted and foundational in relationships. So like your business, when people sell their book of business, if you're an insurance agent and you've been doing it for 30, 40 years, you're selling a list of names, people, you're selling, but not just a list, you're selling those relationships that agent has spent a lifetime building.
Yeah.
So like, that's what you're selling. When you sell a book of business, you're selling all the relationships that business has. So that's friendships. Like, that's not just relationships. I mean, these are people who keep coming back to this person and trusting them for this because they've created that sense of trust. So that's business.
Yeah.
But then you got like nonprofits, like you got churches, synagogues, whatever. Everybody in churches and stuff, like people will only go where they feel like there's relationships that are trustworthy. And so they will go and they will listen to the things that those places
even if
have
they're
to
not.
say, even if they're not right. Yeah, that's true, man. Like you've got all kinds of communities of people, cults and all kinds of stuff where it doesn't really matter if they're centering it around truth, because what they're centering it around is relationship. And people, like you got gangs that people go, I've spent more of my time in gangs feeling a lot more accepted and loved and a part of something than I have in my own family or my own church or whatever. And then also like parenting, like ultimately, can you be friends with your kids? Like now when you start out that first 10 years, you can't really be just buddy with your kid. Although my boys were kind of my little buddies walking around with me, but like there were moments as a dad, like you can't just be friends with your kids. You have to parent.
Yeah.
Over time though, as your kids get older, once you reach the place where they're 21, 22,
you're
23,
a consultant at that
point.
point.
You are. Yeah. You are. And so do they keep coming back? Do they feel like you're a warm fire that they can come and warm those hands by? Or do they feel cold and isolated away when they're near you? If that's all that you've created the whole time that you've been parenting your kids, that's not the goal of parenting. The goal of parenting is to raise kids who become great adults. That's from Andy Andrews. He's like, it's not to raise great kids. It's to raise kids who become great adults. And when they're great adults and when you're a great adult, then you're friends. Yeah. Because great adults become friends. It's the same thing in marriage. I've been married to my wife for 28 years and our relationship is she's my best friend. I'm her best friend. Yeah. We hate each other a lot at times, but like we fight like cats and dogs, but that's the thing about being close with somebody is that they know you, know you and you're vulnerable, and friendship is the foundation of good marriage. So like this carries over business, nonprofit, church, as a Christian, I'm a Christian as well. Like if I want to disciple somebody, if I want to bring somebody into faith,
they gotta trust
that kind of stuff, I can't do that if I'm not friends with them. So that means I don't need to just shun everybody who doesn't look, think, act, or believe like I do. I'll never be able to reach or earn their right to be heard in anybody's life if I'm not willing to just set some of that stuff down and go, hey, like what's the truth between us?
Yeah.
What's the good stuff that we can, hey, we're both human. We both have families,
that
kind of thing.
Right there, what you're talking about could be the center of your, like that could be a video series.
Yeah.
Especially just training. Cause right now the word empathy is being thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
And we're at a time, per the book Pendulum that talks about it, where we need a lot of empathy because we're going through a really dark time, and that's right on schedule. It's supposed to happen this way.
Yeah.
So what does that really look like? Being able to come to the table and agree to disagree and still be friends.
Yes.
I know so many people, I've been coming across so many different relationships lately that are so polar opposite, but still find a way to get along.
Yeah.
And that's, like perfect example. A lot of people are seeing what Trump said. I almost wonder if he did it on purpose. Fine, I'll be the bad guy.
Sure. Yeah.
That will be the one thing that brings everybody together because he's always thinking several steps ahead.
Yeah.
He's not dumb.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing 80. I'm going to be out of this thing at the end of the term anyway. So you might as well all hate me and maybe we'll start to see some healing. I honestly think that might be a strategy of his.
It's hard to tell with him about anything, to be honest with you.
But I mean, honestly, dude, you kind of need your own podcast talking about this because it's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff.
Get moving on that for sure.
So there you go. You got artkelly.org. I'm going to wrap up because I've got a hard stop. I got to get my son and bring him to work and go pick up a car. This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast from the Christian Brothers Automotive Studios, powered by Muletown Bikes. artkelly.org. All the things are right there, especially if you want him to come and do a session, speaking, anything of those things, you can book you right there and find out more about that.
I have several things I coach on, 6 or 7 different sessions. I have a flagship workshop I do called the Friend Maker Workshop. So yeah, man, anything I can do to help you and your business, that's what I want to do.
Awesome. Guys, you can always find and follow us and suggest this episode to a friend by sending them to mmtbp.com. That is a truncated version of the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast. You could also go to that as well. There is a .com for if you want to spell it all out. But mmtbp.com is where you go. You can also apply to be on the show there too. Art, always a pleasure, man. Glad I met you.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you, buddy.